Hi everyone, I'm Yolanda and in today's tutorial I will be making a Dominican cake, 1 pound, and I will decorate it with daisies. Along with the recipe, I have also given you options that you can choose to alter or change the recipe a little bit since this is very basic. So if you look in the information window of this video, you will find all that. And the ingredients are 1 pound of sugar, 1 pound of butter or margarine, 9 to 12 eggs depending on the size, 1 pound of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of milk, and 1 tablespoon of Dominican vanilla. To begin, cream the butter with the sugar. I always like to mix the butter first for a couple of minutes. Then, little by little, I will add the sugar and blend both together until creamy. I'll stop the mixer so that I could scrape the sides of the bowl. Then I turn the mixer back on again and start mixing again. Since these eggs are small, I'm going to use the 12 of them. I've separated the egg yolks from the egg whites. In the small bowl, I have 4 egg whites, which I'm going to whisk later on and incorporate into the batter. In the cup, I have the rest of the egg whites, which I'm going to use for my meringue. Beat the 4 egg whites until it forms small peaks and set it aside. And now I will show you what soft peaks are. Since the sugar and butter have been creamed, now it's time for me to add the egg yolks. I will try to add them one by one. Sometimes 2 of them go together and that's okay, but you should mix one by one. I'm going to combine the milk with the vanilla. Now let's add all the dried ingredients, the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. Although it didn't record when I added the salt, but the salt has been added. I'm adjusting the protective shield so that way when I pour in the flour, it will not come back at me. It will not go all over the place. And now at a low speed, we are going to incorporate the dried ingredients and the liquid. We are going to alternate between the dried ingredients and the liquid. First, we will start with the dried ingredients. Then we will add a little bit of the liquid and then add more dried ingredients. We are going to start with dried ingredients and we are going to finish with the dried ingredients. And I like to stop the mixer just for a few seconds to scrape the batter from the side of the bowl. So that way, if there is anything that has not been mixed in, I could scrape it right now and put it back in the mix. So since all the ingredients are well mixed in together, I'm going to remove the bowl from the mixer and just with the spatula scrape the blade, the paddle, and then I'm going to scrape also the sides of the bowl. Now I'm going to incorporate the 4 egg whites that I have beat before, and I just put it on the side. So now it is time for me to incorporate it into the batter. Notice that I'm not mixing it with the mixer. I'm using a spatula because you don't want to start mixing. You just want to fold in the egg whites. You fold in the egg whites into the batter, just like this. And after that is done, that's it. You are done making your Dominican cake batter. So for this batter, which is 1 pound, I'm going to use 4 6x2 cake pans. Here you only see 3, but I'm using 4. And here they are. So here are 2 of my cakes already done. I just removed them from the oven. I'm going to let them set for a few minutes, then I will bring them out. I've just removed my cakes from the cake pans just to show you how they feel. You see how spongy and moist they look and they feel like that? Flexible. So this is how it should be. Very moist and tender and flexible. If you press down on the cake and the cake bounces back, that means that it's soft. It has a lot of air, it has a lot of moisture, and it's very good, a very good batter. And the same thing goes for this one. You see how spongy? You press and you could feel the cake bouncing back towards your fingers again. So this is a very good batter. I'm happy with it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze my cakes. I'm not planning on decorating this cake today, so I'm going to wrap them up in aluminum foil and then I am going to freeze them until tomorrow. And tomorrow, before I start decorating them, I will bring them out of the freezer and let them sit at room temperature, maybe for 5 to 10 minutes before I level them. Here is the pineapple cans I'm going to be using as filling for my cake. I'm going to use 1.5 cans of this pineapple. This is crushed pineapple. Fresh pineapple is best, but I don't have fresh pineapple, so this will work. I'm going to add to that 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Also 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I'm going to mix all that together. Put it in a saucepan. Place on your stove at a medium heat and cook or boil until it thickens. Not too long, you just want a little bit thick. So here is our pineapple filling. It is finished. It's a little bit thick. That's what I was looking for, that consistency. And now I'm just going to let it cool until it's time for me to use it to fill my cakes. Here are some of my cakes. I just brought them out of the fridge and I'm just going to let them sit for a little while. It is important that you freeze or chill your cakes before you cut them. Otherwise, you're going to have a big mess with all the crumbs that are going to fall off your cake. So make sure that your cake is kind of frozen, and if it's if it's solid, completely solid, let it thaw for about maybe 10 minutes on your counter, and then you proceed to level them. I'm wearing gloves to protect my hands from any cuts, so if I cut myself, the blood will not run into the cake. I also have a serrated knife. I'm going to hold my knife with my right hand while turning the cake with my left hand. Notice that I'm not turning the knife. I'm turning the cake into the knife. I'm not turning the knife into the cake. So with a circular motion, just pushing the cake so that way the knife will not move. Only the cake is doing all the work. The knife I'm keeping very sturdy and not moving at all. So see, the first crown just came off and that looks gorgeous. And for your benefit, I'm cutting another cake from another camera angle, so you could see how I hold the knife and how my left hand turns. So the next step would be to fill each layer, and I'm going to do that just spreading the pineapple in the center, kind of in the center, only don't go too far on the edges, because then after you place your top cake or layer, if you push down, then all the filling is going to spread out. We don't want that to happen. We are going to be working with our syrup for our meringue. We take a saucepan, we put in 2 cups of granulated sugar, and then we pour in 1/2 cup of clear water. stir the sugar with the water, kind of blending them together before you start boiling the water and the sugar. And then just put aside, and now we are going to be working with the bowl. Now we are going to put in our mixing bowl 1 cup of egg whites, the same egg whites that I have separated when I started making the cake. We will also add 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now I will take the bowl to the mixer. Once my syrup starts to boil, I will turn on the mixer. Be sure to attach a candle thermometer to the saucepan with the syrup. I'm going to take my saucepan to the stove now, and when it starts to boil, I will return to the mixer. Now that my syrup started to boil, I just came and turned on the mixer. I'm going to beat the egg whites until the syrup reaches a temperature of 230 degrees. And here is my syrup. It's already boiled and ready to be poured into the egg whites. Very carefully, you are going to pour it not at once, but little by little, so it doesn't reach the bottom. You don't want the syrup to go to the bottom of the mixing bowl. You want it to stay more or less on top of the egg whites. You do not want it to go down. I will continue beating the egg whites and the syrup until the mixing bowl is cool to the touch. And my mixing bowl is cool to the touch, and that means that my meringue is ready. I just wanted to show you the peak that has formed in the beater as we were beating the egg whites and the syrup. And when I take the meringue with my spatula upside down and I shake it, it will not fall off because it's not soft. This meringue has a firm consistency, which is what you are looking for to ice your cake when you are icing it with meringue. And now it's time to ice my cake with the meringue. I'm going to do it very quickly. I didn't give the cake a crumb coat because it wasn't necessary. My meringue is starting to get porous. It's been a little while since I made the meringue, so I need to hurry up and finish covering the cake. Also, all that is going to be fixed when I use the cold water to smooth out the meringue. So after the cake has been covered with the icing with the meringue, I'm going to smooth it out using cold water. I usually use warm water when I'm working with buttercream, but I find that with meringue, cold water works best for me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dip the spatula in the cold water, and then I'm going to smooth out all the surface of the cake. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate the cake, making some corneli lace all over the surface of the cake. Corneli lace is very easy to make. All you need to do is just kind of zigzag up and down sideways. The only thing that you shouldn't do when you are making corneli lace is cross the lines. You should never cross the line because then the design does not look good. So you start at one point and then you continue throughout the surface of your cake in different patterns. And I'm finished making the corneli lace. As you can see, it's all over the cake. It looks very pretty. And here is the final product. And since spring is just around the corner, I decided to add some daisies, orange and yellow daisies. You may add any flowers that you like. I think it looks beautiful with those daisies. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with someone. And if you would like to receive other tutorials like this one, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for visiting. I will see you back here next week with another tutorial. In the meantime, take care and God bless.